Okay, so welcome back to this video about a deeper analysis with the data that we have. And to be honest with you, the t-test that we did is usually one of the kind of first analysis that we do, but usually it's not strong enough. It's not that advanced enough to actually build a thesis or at least build a study. What it is stronger and what it is much more used is a regression. And a regression is a more complex level of analysis. Again, this is also that we see in the lectures what is a regression in quantitative studies. So we are going to do now a regression only with two variables, one dependent and one independent variable. So before we do the analysis, we really need to think what will be the relationship that we want to test. So, and this reflection is super important whenever you are doing research, because that sets everything. Even if you get nice numbers, if you don't think this well enough before, you can mess up everything. So let's take some time to reflect. Well, I think that the most important thing that we want to measure is the grade, right? Like that this is the variable that we care about. This is the variable that we want to build conclusions on. So the grade should be the dependent variable. The grade in the regression model, the grade is the one that I want to forecast or that I want to analyze. So grade will be the variable. And then what will be the explanatory variable or the independent variable? Is it going to be gender? Well, thanks to what we did previously with the t-test, it seems that gender doesn't really affect the grade, right? It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, even though that in average girls have higher grades. It seems that there is no significance on gender, that the gender doesn't explain that change. So maybe gender is not the smartest thing to analyze. So let's move to another one. I think that the most logic thing to do is to relate grade with hours of study. I think that the logic and even the theory suggests that if you study more time, you will get a better grade. So that will be our model. That will be our regression model that we are going to test. So to do that, go to analyze and then go to regression and then go to linear, right? And this will pop up. So we already discussed that. The dependent variable is going to be grade. And the independent variable, as you can see, you can put more than one, but let's include only one, hours of study. Okay, so hours of study is what I will do. There is a lot of things in here that you can add, but I suggest you to leave it like that. Then click OK. So here is a regression. So two things that you should check immediately after you are done with setting the regression. First, check the model summary. The model summary, what tells you is how good is your model at predicting the dependent variable? How good is your model at explaining what happens to the dependent variable? So here we have a fantastic, almost incredible too good to be true model, because it seems that the R-square says that 0.99% of the variation of the dependent variable is explained in our model. And that's crazy. Like imagine like 99% of your grade is explained by how many hours you study. Probably this is very unrealistic because it's only an example, right? Like only a practice, but that's what the number says. So 0.99, wow, that's amazing. It's, as I said, maybe it's too good to be true. Then we have the coefficients. That's the other thing that matters a lot. And this is where people go crazy about it. I think I also mentioned it in the lecture. You want to have a significance level of 0.1 or less than 0.1. And here you have less than 0.001, right? So this gives you a super strong confidence level, significance level. You are significant at 99.99%. That means that hours of study per week explain an increase of the grade 99.99% of significance. And here we have the coefficient. According to our regression, If you study 1 more hour, you will increase your grade by 2.3. So this is the regression model. This is kind of the outcome of the regression model. This is a fantastic model, too good to be true. I will say, like, if you do this in real life, probably you won't get it that nice. But what matters is, like, check the model summary, the R-square. If the R-square is above, I don't know, 0.6 is still okay, 0.65, it's still okay. Like the model explains a lot. 0.9 is fantastic. And then the significance, and the significance has to be less than 0.1, okay? This over here. So again, fantastic, it's almost 0. So both the constant, which most of the time the constant is significant, and the hours of study are significant. And the beta says that because it is positive, the relationship is positive. So the more you study, the better grade you get. And because it's a linear regression, you can assume that if you add 1 more hour, then you will increase your grade by 2. So that's kind of a good thing from linear regression. Also, maybe you remember from statistics that you can more or less forecast using a linear regression. Again, as I said, this is very simplistic. This is just an example, but this is something that you will actually be doing in your dissertation. So that is the first analysis of a linear regression. Then I think we're going to do a more complex regression in the next video.